this edition of Sightings.
There's an entity in this room right now.
A dangerous spirit is forcing these people from their home.
Identify yourself. You hear that?
Yeah. It sounds almost like a moan.
Yeah, it's a moaning.
The Heartland ghost strikes again.
Something is burning my face.
Then, was Hollywood's greatest genius cursed?
The long steel needle been driven entirely through the script. This was the mark of the voodoo.
Also, a frightening tale of alien abduction from the Australian Outback.
It jumped on the roof of our car and took us up in the air.
Plus, some scientists believe the Earth wants us to change our ways.
The ecosystem fights back, and it attacks the people.
And newly discovered lights in space may offer an explanation to Earth mysteries.
There are forces in the Earth that are equivalent to those things in the sky.
Welcome to Sightings. I'm Tim White. Sightings continues to investigate the Heartland ghost, the most compelling haunting case our investigative team has ever encountered. The family has now moved out of the house where they believe a vindictive entity named Sally lives. Before they moved out, they called in a Native American shaman to exorcise the spirit. Then our team returned to the now empty house with psychic Peter James to see if Sally was really gone.
From the outside, little has changed since Peter James first visited this remarkable house last summer. In fact, the house stands today much as it has since it was built in 1872. But this time, the upstairs window was empty. No one peered out on the quiet street in this quiet town in America's heartland. Sally, the child entity from the past that Peter believes is trapped in the present, seemed to be gone. And the family, Pam, Jeff, and Donnie, who tried to live with the haunting power in this house, have moved out. As chronicled in past episodes of Sightings, the ghostly activity began for them when family photographs revealed strange, unexplained images.
This was the room that there were a lot of photographs taken. One was when I was sitting down here, and then two entities showed up, one about in this area here, and then one somewhere in this area here.
After those photographs were taken, the haunting seemed to move upstairs, where the family began to feel an unnatural force at work in their son's nursery.
This room spooks me, to be honest with you. This is where a lot of her activity happens. She's taking toys from that part of the room, throwing them out here to the middle of the floor. She's moved furniture around.
After a few months, the paranormal activity took a more destructive turn.
While you guys were outside doing an interview outside, there's something we discovered in here. It just looks like it's burnt, and the rest of the petal is moist still. It's still half alive. But the outside, it's ashes.
And finally, there was the moment before our Sightings cameras when something or someone viciously attacked Jeff.
She's right here with me right now. I'm feeling something really cold shoot around my stomach.
These scratches had appeared just moments before.
He's just went right through my midsection.
Oh my God, look. Look. Oh, look, they're forming. It's forming right there.
She tends to do this to me because I upset her sometimes. And she wants to be noticed, I think, today.
On Peter James' first visit to the home, his psychic impressions centered on the link between a child entity and a former resident of the home who had lived here at the turn of the century.
I feel very medical about this for some reason. A medical person that that had a strange lifestyle.
Peter's accuracy was remarkable. When our sightings investigative team researched town records from 1900, the city directory showed that the house was occupied at that time by a doctor with a lifestyle that eventually led to his arrest and removal from office as the town's mayor. And Peter believes that while the spirit of Sally, a child entity, haunts the house, her physical body is here, beneath a weather-worn tombstone, and that she was a child the dishonored doctor could not or would not save. Because much of the haunting activity has been reported at night, we conducted this latest phase of our investigation with the aid of night vision lenses.
Okay, we're good.
After so many months, it was the first time our team had been alone in the house with the lights out.
I want to go in this room first. And
a second camera shows what you'd see without the aid of the night vision technology.
our nighttime is their daytime. There's an entity in this room right now, no doubt in my mind. Give us a better verification that you're here. Whoever you are, identify yourself.
What do you hear?
You hear it?
What do you hear? Tell me what you hear.
It sounds almost like a moan.
Yeah, it's a moaning. You hear it?
You hear it, Tony?
I do.
Tony, you hear it?
Yeah. I hear it.
It sounds like it's coming from right behind.
Is this where you are, Sally? Right here? Yes. Whoa, yes. Feel this right here. Or is that from the heater? No. No, it's right here. It's right here. Right here. Feel it. Feel it?
Yes.
Yeah, right here. Look. Whoa.
Oh, yeah.
Hello? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Right.
She's right. There we go. Hello. Yeah, that's it. She's here.
Hi, Sally. Jeez.
There she is. Hi, Sally. Whoa. Feel that. Whoa. Woo.
Yeah, right here.
That's very strong right there.
Right here. Yeah, right here.
Here it is. Here it is. Oh my God.
Okay, stay.
Yes, Sally. Hello.
Feel it? Yes.
Yeah. Hi. Whoa. Whoa. Hello. Easy.
You still feel it?
Yeah, a lot. A lot. Yeah. Come and hold my hand, Sally. Sally?
Peter feels the eerie force leading him down the hallway into the former nursery, where Sally's presence has always been felt most intensely.
Sally? Would you like to play with me and the teddy bear, Sally?
You all right?
Yeah, I'm fine, just burning.
Is this unusual, Peter? Something like this happen?
Yeah, that really burns.
Sally has supposedly burned before. A rose, a bib, but never a person.
Something is burning my face, like right now.
Peter James was visibly shaken by the painful encounter.
Wow. Sally, you be nice.
The team broke for the night, but returned the next morning to find an anxious former resident with an amazing story.
I started watching the show and I couldn't believe it. There was no doubt that it was my house, you know, and I'd spent years here. And they showed the bookcase, and my grandmother had all of her medical books here. This room, which is the nursery, was actually my two youngest brothers. And as I passed through the hall and going by here, a light caught my eye. So I turned and I looked in here. It was right here where the fire happened. And as you can see, there's no electrical outlet or anything. It seemed like it was only concentrated right here. In my memory of it has always been, you know, why did that fire start and how? And so, you know, going back and talking to all my brothers after seeing that first show, every single one of them had, well, what about that fire in Kevin Dillon's room? And, you know, I said, that's what I thought of too. And especially when they said that this is the room that they've had the concentration of Sally being in. And I thought, you know, if she was there when we were there, you know, I kind of had that feeling like, were we being watched all those years, or?
As if to confirm her suspicion that the family had been watched, an eerie cold spot suddenly formed.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that's weird. Yeah, it's cold.
Yeah, it's much colder than anywhere else.
It is cold.
What does it feel like to you?
It's like a breeze blowing. It's very cool.
But there's no, all the windows
Yeah,
are
the windows are shut.
The heat is off.
And I feel like I'm really hot, so this does feel really cold here.
Well, say hello to Sally.
God dang, that's so weird.
Despite the family's attempt to exorcise the spirit, Peter James feels she is still here.
How could we deny the fact that she's here? And this clearly says you better reconsider your thinking patterns about ghostly activity, because there are two entities here and will remain here, in spite of his attempted exorcism.
In fact, as you will see later in this program, Sally's supposedly vindictive nature was once again painfully obvious as our investigation broadened in the days that followed.
Peter James believes that Sally is still present in the house. And there was other evidence as well. When the former tenants, Jeff and Pam, returned to the house for a surprise visit, something sinister returned with them. And through a live computer hookup with hundreds of Sightings viewers, many of you were able to be there at the very moment of contact.
Later on Sightings, we go online with our Heartland investigation.
So you physically felt that?
Yeah, that hurt.
And was Hollywood's greatest genius the victim of a mysterious curse?
Hollywood has made hundreds of movies about the evil power of curses. There's the curse of the mummy, the curse of the cat people, and of course, who can forget the curse of the swamp creature? They make the subject laughable. But there is one real-life Hollywood curse that is deadly serious. It may have been the reason why one of the big screen's brightest lights burned out before his time.
This is a voodoo witch doctor. I ran into him in Brazil and Rio de Janeiro. We were down there making a documentary film. And so I arranged with a good deal of difficulty to film a voodoo ceremony.
Everything that Orson Welles did before 1942 worked like a charm.
And it was my unhappy lot to have to tell him that the filming was off because I had just received word from Hollywood that the president of the film studio had been removed.
It was his downfall. Once he left Hollywood and went to Brazil,
there was no more money to spend on voodoo ceremonies. And the witch doctor assured me that this was deeply offensive.
He never got another job in pictures anywhere remotely like the kind of opportunity he'd had.
On my desk, in a script of the film, was a long steel needle. It had been driven entirely through the script, and to the needle was attached a length of red wool. This was the mark of the voodoo.
It was 1942, and Orson Welles was the undisputed king of Hollywood. Citizen Kane, still considered the greatest film ever made, had been released a year earlier, and Welles was still receiving accolades for his historic War of the Worlds broadcast. But suddenly the voodoo curse seemed to change everything.
I know that Orson always felt that he had been cursed with the whole Brazil enterprise.
Director Peter Bogdanovich was Welles's friend and worked with him on his memoir, This Is Orson Welles. In it, Welles chronicled his ill-fated attempt to make a documentary about South America titled It's All True.
Orson had a strong belief in superstition, in witchcraft, in black magic and white magic, and I think he took it quite literally. I think he felt that the picture was cursed and that he was suffering from that curse. I think it pursued him to the end of his days.
Curses are real. Curses are made every day, every moment of every day by people towards other people, and they have effects. Curses can kill people. Curses can make people sick. Curses can ruin people's finances. Curses can certainly ruin people's love lives. How do the curses work? There is no canned answer to that question.
Rudy Chavez has an intimate knowledge of the power of curses. He runs the Crystal Cauldron in Oceanside, California, a metaphysical resource center where many people come in search of a release from their curses.
Curses are done in many ways, any way conceivable. The mind is limitless. So a curse is merely just negative energy. How you choose to use it and manipulate it is entirely up to each individual.
Certainly, if you believe you're cursed, you're cursed. If you believe you're cursed, you've already set yourself up to have a bad result.
What I would tell someone who believes they are truly cursed, and if in fact they are cursed, is for them not to be afraid, to empower themselves, to muster up all the strength and courage that they can, and to stand strong and firm. And that is the first step to overcoming a curse.
Chavez calls his technique for removing the negative energy of a curse a spiritual cleansing.
We would anoint the pulse points with a spiritual oil or a cleansing oil. We would light incense, in which we would burn herbs such as sage. Sage has been used for cleansing and healing. And we would invoke the blessings of God. In our tradition, it's God, Goddess, because you have feminine and masculine energies. Without one, you cannot have the other, and life cannot be sustained.
Lina D'Souza is a spiritual priestess who believes she acquired her healing gift as a young girl in Brazil.
Brazil has a lot of power, spiritual power, a lot of spiritual power. You feel it when you arrive in. You feel it, it's very strong.
Producer Bill Crone first met Lina after finding the original footage from It's All True in this film vault. It had remained untouched for nearly 40 years.
I wanted Lina to remove the curse from the film so that we could go ahead, raise the money, make a deal with Paramount, and get the thing finished.
Orson wanted to finish this picture. He did not want to walk away from it. His heart was into it, and he wanted to finish it.
Cinematographer Gary Graver worked with Orson Welles for 15 years, up until Welles's death in 1985.
He tried many times to finish it, unsuccessfully. He thought a lot of footage was missing, and he didn't want to spend the time on it because he thought it was the curse on it.
When I saw Lina for the first time, we sat down and she threw a bunch of seashells on the table and looked into them to see what had been done. She said, whoever did this did a good job, but I think we can turn it around.
Then when I threw the shells, I read what the shell did, and then I give him the answer. And the guide says it could be removed. It was not easy to do it, but it could be done.
With the help of her spiritual guides, Lina claimed she had lifted the curse. Bill Crone resurrected the Welles footage and completed the film. It's All True was released without incident in 1993, more than 50 years after it was shot.
I don't have any theories about curses. I don't know where they come from, and I don't know where they go. But I think I was involved with one for 11 years, and I'm glad that I went to someone who knew more than I do about curses, because I think if I hadn't, It's All True would never have been finished.
If you're worried that someone might put a curse on you, remember that most curses work on the premise that you can trick the mind into harming the body. The power of a curse is as strong as your willingness to believe in it.
Next, newly discovered lights in space may explain baffling Earth mysteries.
It's documentation of a natural energetic.
Contrary to popular belief, ufologists are not dedicated to proving that every sighting is an alien spacecraft hell-bent on delivering an extraterrestrial ultimatum. In fact, the lion's share of their work involves searching for a scientific explanation for anomalous lights in the sky. Recently, a new natural phenomenon has been videotaped for the first time. The tape offers a scientific explanation for some UFO sightings.
There have always been lights in the sky, a celestial painting we can't always explain. As technology reaches farther into space, science is finding answers, but also new phenomena high above the Earth.
All around the world, there are extraordinary energetic phenomenon that people have reported off and on throughout the years in the scientific literature.
Everyone has seen these extraordinary forces at work when they rip through the atmosphere and crash to Earth. And now, spectacular new pictures reveal definitive proof that enormous blasts of colored light, which once existed only in the imagination of science, are, in fact, real.
It's documentation of a natural energetic phenomenon. We haven't looked at this enough.
The blue fans of light are called jets. The red bursting cones are sprites. Blue jets and red sprites emanate from the top of thunderclouds and are 20 to 60 miles high. They are seen here in slow motion because sprites and jets last only a few thousandths of a second.
Hopefully what it will do is encourage NASA to start using remote sensing technologies to map out not only sprites and jets, but more subtle forms of energy that exist all around the Earth.
There's nothing subtle about sprites and jets, but their discovery may be a roadmap to more elusive, mystical phenomena.
Well, over the years that we've been investigating ancient sacred places, we've heard of accounts of people seeing curious lights, and folklore and tradition speaks of curious light forms. And they seem to haunt the sort of places that the ancient megalith builders and monument builders selected for their sites. I call them earth lights. And we see these curious lights have been seen by all traditional peoples. In Australia, for example, the Aborigines call them Min-Min lights. In the Native American Indians, many different Native American peoples have different traditions about these light phenomena.
Sightings of magical earth lights infuse Native American myth and legend, and sacred places were set aside for their worship and observation.
Unusual, sometimes visible energetic discharge phenomenon like the Marfa lights down in the southwest. In China, there are mountains with balls of light that supposedly dance around the tops of them. There are the Andes lights that are these glowing spires that shoot up into the air above the Andes mountains.
Pilots have reported seeing glowing columns of light for years, but their observations remained anecdotal until these pictures were taken.
In the Earth, there are enormous telluric currents in the ground. There are probably equivalents to the sprites and jets. We just don't see them. When lightning strikes, the heavens and the earth are connected, and there are forces in the earth that are equivalent to those things in the sky.
Geophysicists have suspected the existence of red sprites and blue jets for many years, but it wasn't until technology caught up with imagination that the phenomena were finally documented on videotape. The same may prove true for paranormal phenomena that we suspect but cannot document yet.
Up next, uncontrollable new diseases may be a sign that the Earth has had enough.
We are the problem. You have, in effect, Gaia's revenge.
Then, alien abduction in the land down under, and America goes online with a ghost.
In 1979, scientist James Lovelock wrote a controversial book called Gaia, A New Look at Life on Earth. In it, he described the Earth as a living organism that, like the life teeming within it, was capable of sickness and healing. Today, in an era of global warming, deforestation, and overpopulation, many scientists have come to embrace Lovelock's theory, and they have a warning. The Earth will heal itself by killing us.
Gaia is the Greek word for earth, and the Earth, according to many scientists, is not well. Gaia is striking back, they say, at the source of her problem, the human race. Gaia's revenge will be swift and deadly, unwittingly set in motion by us, the instruments of destruction. With the destruction of rainforest around the world, rare viruses have been released in populated areas. Viruses with names like Ebola and Marburg can kill a healthy person in less than 48 hours. The viral outbreaks are just beginning, but Gaia theory says we're running out of time.
I find the theory of Gaia, where the Earth is seen as a living organism, reacting to responses from the outside and stimuli, such as deforestation, totally credible.
For more than 20 years, naturalist Arnold Newman has led expeditions deep into the tropical rainforests of South America. He has seen firsthand what deforestation is doing to our planet.
We're losing 1 football field per second in the tropical rainforests. That's 100 acres per minute. If we extrapolate that, we're losing an area the size of Great Britain annually.
Why is an area covering only 7% of Earth's land mass so significant? Because it contains 90% of all life forms.
By the year 2010, that's 15 years away, we'll be responsible for the extinction of 20% of Earth's species. In 60 years, 50% of the species on Earth will be gone, irrevocably.
The Gaia theory suggests that Earth, like man, has vital organs, and that the heart is the rainforest.
If we cut down the tropical rainforest, we're not just harming the people who live close by. It has an effect on the overall system, just as if I stuck something in your heart, or in your brain, or in your lung, the rest of your body would react. When I began my research on Gaia, I was skeptical, and I was gonna knock the stuffing out of it. I'm from Brooklyn. I am not New Age. And I figured this is one of these sort of oogie-boogie kind of concoctions that is masquerading as science.
But the more journalist Lawrence Joseph learned about Lovelock and his Gaia theory, the more he came to accept it as prophetic. He began to see a frightening correlation between man's encroachment on the environment and the impending destruction of the planet.
We are the threat. We are the problem. There are 5 billion of us on the planet. There is a 250 billion pounds of human flesh on this planet.
The world's population is expected to double within 40 years. With twice as many cars, twice as much pollution, and double the need for natural resources, how will the Earth sustain us?
Every year, we consume about 40% of all the green stuff that the planet produces. With 10 billion people, we're clearly going to be consuming almost everything that the planet produces. We cannot live beyond our means, and we're getting perilously close to doing so.
By cutting away and disrupting the balance, you have, in effect, Gaia's revenge. The ecosystem fights back, and it attacks the people. It harms them with disease and drives them out.
Ironically, it is people who may be Gaia's unwitting accomplices. Deadly viruses once locked deep in the rainforest are now being unleashed by our unrelenting march into remote areas.
We are endlessly fascinated by movies that depict us being eaten by aliens and sharks off Amity. The reality is that we are eaten, and we are eaten by bacteria and viruses. And they are the real threat. Millions of people are going to die from HIV for every person who gets gobbled up by a great white shark, fictional or otherwise.
We're probably only just seeing the tip of the iceberg to all of the viruses that are out there. And there's probably plenty more to come.
Virologist Scott Lane is an associate professor at the UCLA School of Public Health, where he is a leading researcher in the fight against AIDS.
There's a whole web of where infectious diseases are emerging from right now. It's the rainforest, it's the sea, it's the land that we live on. There are airborne viruses, and there are viruses which are sexually transmitted.
If you look at the average American, as described by the recent sex survey, they'll have 5 sexual partners in a lifetime. That means they've got a 1 in 40 chance of encountering somebody who carries a deadly disease. I wouldn't want to do anything that had a risk of 1 in 40 of killing myself. It makes bungee jumping look incredibly safe.
One of the most gruesome killer viruses to emerge from the rainforest is Ebola. Trapped for perhaps centuries in this dense protected environment, it has not been as easy to contain the virus in laboratories and test tubes. Ebola virus was discovered in this country, uncontrolled, in an animal quarantine facility in Reston, Virginia. If the airborne virus had spread outside the facility, thousands, if not millions of Americans would have died a horrible death.
When you're infected with Ebola virus, it seems to grow in all of the cells of your body. Ebola causes your blood to clot, and it also causes your blood to thin at the same time. You may start vomiting blood. You may start sneezing blood. Blood might start breaking out of pores in your skin. And in the meantime, you bruise. Those bruises, they break open. You literally turn into just a petri dish for the virus, and you die a horrible death.
A jet plane and 24 hours is all it would take for one person with Ebola to spread the virus worldwide.
You can be one day in Hong Kong, you can be the next day in New York City. You can be one day in Australia, you can be the next day in China. Jetting around the world is a factor for spreading viral infection.
Is an outbreak of Ebola or another new deadly virus inevitable, or is there still time to prevent Gaia's revenge?
I think there's been a fundamental mistake in the approach of environmentalists, and that's the save the earth notion. Fear, self-interest is a much greater motivator, and I think when that finally sinks in, and I believe it has begun to, then people will see that the environment is not just another good deed, but it's necessary and beneficial for themselves.
I think it's going to be very interesting to see what path humanity decides on taking. Are we going to be the wise stewards of our planet or the desecrators of it?
While it is true that pollution, disease, and deforestation are on the rise, there is room for optimism. Global awareness of the Earth's fragility is at an all-time high. And even though recycling one bottle or planting one tree may seem trivial, the cumulative effect could save the Earth.
Coming up, what terrorized this family in Australia's Outback?
It was hot. All this junk come inside the car. It made us feel like our heads were going to explode.
More than 90% of all reported alien abductees are American. It's a statistic that skeptics use to argue that the abduction phenomenon is simply a product of our own pop culture and pop psychology. Abduction experts counter that the numbers are skewed because abductees in other countries don't always feel free to come forward. That was certainly the case for an Australian family who were forced underground after their experience was ridiculed in the press.
On the afternoon of January 20th, 1988, Faye Knowles and her 3 sons set out from Perth in Western Australia to visit relatives several hundred miles away. At dusk, they were crossing the Nullarbor Plain, a desolate stretch of road through the Australian desert. It was here, as day turned to night, that the Knowles encountered something terrifying that remains unexplained to this day.
We drove on, and this object kept on following us, and somehow, I don't know how the hell it done it, but it wasn't actually flying, it was just hovering. It didn't have wings or anything like that, it was just hovering.
We nearly died. We thought we were dying.
And the faster we went, the faster this object went.
The Knowles had experienced abject fear at the hands of an unnatural force. Police offered no explanation, and when the family turned to the media for help in finding an answer, the media turned on them.
Would you please welcome a couple of people who've seen the light, Faye and Patrick Knowles. What was your first reaction?
I thought we were going to die, you know.
Did you know what it was?
Didn't know.
It didn't look like anything you'd ever seen before?
No, that's right.
The object picked the car up, and Mum wound in her window and put her hand out in the roof, and she touched it.
Let me get this right. You've been picked up by an alien craft, and you've wound down the window, Faye.
Yeah, go on.
And put your hand on the roof.
Because I was curious to see what was up there.
So you're way off the ground, you've got the alien spacecraft picking you up, and you've virtually patted it, haven't you?
As this was going on, it was like a really loud sound on top of the inside the car, and it was like a material, it was like a fog that was coming into the car. And when the material came into
it was your mum's skin burning.
The media treating the Knowles family was ruthless. I don't think one person honestly asked sensible questions and tried to console these people and seeing the state of anxiety that they were in.
I mean, people would say, oh, you know, you saw things, you're making it up,
That's not true.
A lot of the interviewers, I find and have found, make a bit of a joke of it and don't really approach it seriously.
Some staining due to soot from outer space, others staining due to terrified passengers.
The impression I got on the Knowles case that it was a serious and definite event that happened, experience that they had.
Here, for the first time outside of Australia, and without reprisal or ridicule, is the story of what happened on that January night in 1988, as told by the Knowles in their own words.
I was next to Sean. He was sitting in front, driving, and I was asleep in the passenger side, and Sean goes, "Pat, wake up, look at this." And he goes, and I go to him, "What's the matter?" He goes, "It looks like a UFO." And I said, "Can't shrink." We drove up to it, approaching it, and this thing was, at first, it was just stopped in the road, and we approached it.
Yeah, it was more like an egg shape, and it had like a yellow centre.
Next minute, you know, this object appeared back behind us. And I said to Sean, "Come, put your foot down, let's get going."
And that's when I decided to put my foot down. And it just caught up within a matter of seconds.
Sparks hit the back tyre like something was trying to blow out the tyre, like the object behind us. It blew the tyre out with like a beam of light.
Before we knew it, she just went clunk on the roof of the car.
It jumped on the roof of our car and took us up in the air, like that.
And as it picked the car up, the car lit up like a microwave. It lit up really bright inside. We heard this great big enormous sound. It sounded like a motor or something. I don't know what. It's really hard to describe. Like, it made us feel like our heads were going to explode.
Yeah, we're frightened, and like our brain's been sucked out.
Yeah, it was hot. All this junk come inside the car, and you know, and at that time, it was hard to explain because I kind of blanked out.
As the car was dropped, you could feel this object slip off the car.
Not long after, you know, it dropped the car. That's when I come out of it, and I took off from the car. I told them all to jump out.
We jumped at the car, ran over to the bushes, hid in the bushes,
and you could see this thing. It was still looking for us. And at the same time, I turned the lights off in the car, and somehow it could not focus on that car. Somehow it was working with our lights. As soon as I turned those lights off, it just could not find us.
According to the Knowles family, it was at this point that they experienced what ufologists referred to as missing time.
I think we lost about an hour and a half in time, and it's really hard to explain, you know, how long it did take.
Local police investigated the incident and found several eyewitnesses who corroborated the strange events on the Null Arbor Plain that night.
They were travelling along the road. A bright light appeared in front of the car. Shortly after, the light disappeared behind the car. The car was picked up on the road, shaken violently. The car was covered in ash, black ash.
What about the people? Were they harmed at all?
Weren't harmed, but visibly shaken up.
Many people witnessed the Knowles event, and they were from all professions and walks of life, and they were travelling in different vehicles. So we had people in spotter planes for the tuna boat people. We had the tuna boat people experiencing the UFO light above them.
Police investigators and scientists examined the car and analyzed the sooty residue found inside. Although their findings were inconclusive, most of the investigators insisted the damage to the vehicle and the tires was caused by some unexplained but natural causes.
A lot of the powers that be put it down to the rising sun or Jupiter or these other things which they think ordinary people mistake these things for, but it's their way of getting around it and not having to do anything about it, I think.
We just want people to know what happened to us and that we weren't out for anything, you know, we thought it was amazing ourselves. We thought we'd like to let people know what happened because it's, to us, you know, it was exciting plus very frightening, you know, you can't really explain what it's like unless it's actually happened to you. Like people say, you know, people used to laugh before and make a joke of it, but now they don't.
Since the Knowles experience in 1988, there have been many anonymous reports of mysterious lights hovering over the Null Arbor Plain. But so far, no one since the Knowles family has been willing to come forward and tell their story publicly.
Coming up, while Sightings is online with viewers, a violent spirit makes its presence known.
In the last 5 minutes, 3 scratches appeared on his body.
We now return to the house in America's Heartland, which has been the focus of an intensive sightings investigation. This time, many of you came with us through a live computer forum set up with America Online. In the world's first online ghost investigation, hundreds of sightings viewers were able to experience the haunting firsthand.
She was clearly dressed in garb that would be worn by a child at the turn of the century.
As Peter James concluded his psychic investigation, the team moved downstairs, where Sightings co-executive producer Stephen Krupnik was leading a computer forum between Sightings viewers and the investigative team. Through a live nationwide hookup, viewers could ask questions, make comments about their own beliefs, and experience the haunting firsthand through the information superhighway. Here, computer users posed questions directly to Peter James.
I would like to know if there's any way to learn how to talk to or contact a ghost.
It takes a lot of trial and error and a lot of nurturing and a lot of just being persistent.
All good things must come to an end. Time is up for this event.
Great.
All right.
Good. Okay, great. Thank you. Great job, guys.
The next day, Sightings was online with paranormal investigator Carrie Gaynor. Again, through a computer forum on America Online, viewers were speaking live with Gaynor and the rest of the team. During this computer session, the former residents of the house paid an unexpected visit. Within minutes, Sally's telltale calling card was visible, and our online audience was experiencing it with the rest of the team.
So, did you feel it here or down here? Where did you feel it?
Kind of like all across here.
Oh, the whole face?
Yeah.
The first reaction from the online audience was skeptical.
How do we know this is not a hoax?
Well, I don't know. I'll let you answer that. We got 15 people observing this right now.
In the last 5 minutes, 3 scratches appeared on his body in full view of 8 witnesses.
But those 3 scratches were not the last. Just minutes after Sightings concluded the computer forum, Sally struck again, and this time with a viciousness our team had not seen before.
All of a sudden, his knees buckled, and he just kind of let out an oh, and clearly something happened. We went up, lifted up his shirt, and there were 2 vicious scratch marks across his back. I mean, it really looked like an attack.
You okay? Still hurt?
His knees even gave out.
Up to this point, the family has asked us to keep their identities and their town secret. But in our next report from America's Heartland, Sightings will bring you both Carrie Gaynor's complete investigation and the true identity of the scratching victim we now call Jeff.
Sightings has expanded its America Online area. Keyword Sightings when you log on for access to Sightings stories, images, and events. To subscribe to America Online, call 1-800-591-3344. And you can still reach Sightings 24 hours a day at 1-900-933-7444.
Until next time, remember, no mystery is closed to an open mind. For Sightings, I'm Tim White.